Hello again, whiskey friends. Welcome back. Thanks for joining. So I got one today that you may not have heard of. So we'll go over it a little bit here. But this is a Boone County finished whiskey. They're sourcing from Indiana in this case. And it's finished from Dalton Winery, something called an Anna Liqueur Casks. I'll get into a little bit of what that means, but we're going to fresh crack this one. This is a release that the distillery did, and I've seen it in limited areas. People in New York I've seen give me pictures of this thing too. So there is a distribution to this one. But let's get into it, explore something new, exciting. Never had anything like this one before. Let's try it out, see how we like it. Thanks for joining, everybody. All right. Get that plastic off, and let's get a cork pop. Here we go. Ooh, that was really in there. All right, we're going to use a fancy glass for this one. I'm pretty excited about this. So let's pour this and then talk about it for a little bit. All right, there we go. Now, first off, Boone County. If you have or haven't heard of Boone County here, let's just take it from the top. Boone County is over here south of Cincinnati, northern Kentucky area, right below 275. And they've been getting some great MGP for a very long time. This is actually one of the things I cut my teeth on back when I first got into bourbon. Boone County 1833, which was a 90 proof, 10-year and then 12-year MGP blend. Man, did I love that. It was like $55 at the time. Like, that was like my house bourbon. Like, that was just the thing that I bought for my daily. Spoiled at the time, didn't know it. And then it disappeared, it dried up. There was also a lot of Boone County single barrels you might have seen, 12-year, 13-year, 14-year. God, those are all pretty darn good too. Now, Boone County has since moved on to some of their own stuff. They have their own pot still, but they're still sourcing some from Indiana as well. And with the Indiana, what they ended up doing, if you ever see the Boone County small batch, the way it was described to me, now this is of course 2 years ago, so it could be old information, but the way it was described to me was it was a blend of casks between 5 and 10 years to create a profile between 7 and 8 years. Math checks out, sure. But then Boone County has been releasing that cask strength and finishing it over the last couple of years, and the distribution of those isn't very wide. I'm just lucky enough to live in the area and to be able to drive down there every once and again to get these when they release them. So we'll go over this one here, but they also had the sherry cask finish. They've actually done 3 different releases of this, so they keep doing a sherry fill. So they did a first fill, second fill, third fill. They did honey casks. Man, do I love that bottle. And then one that came out recently and actually got more widely distributed was a toasted cask finish. So they've been dabbling with the finishing for a little bit. It's usually about once a year they come out with something, and this was what they came out this year. Now, this one is a partnership or a collaboration, I should say, with Dalton Winery. That's out of Israel. And they have something called an Anna Liqueur. And the way it's described here is Anna is a unique fortified wine liqueur made from Muscat grapes in the traditional Solara method, aged over a period of at least 8 years in French oak barrels. So never had anything finished in a wine liqueur before. So very intrigued to see where this goes. I did get a sip of this recently, just at a bottle share kind of tasting. So just enough to be like, ooh, that's really rich and I like it. But this will be the first proper tasting of it for me here. So without further ado, let's get in the nose and taste some more delicious finished MGP whiskey. Hey, everybody. Man, that is just straight syrup. I even hit like maple syrup. Gosh, this one's going to be just a different flavor profile altogether. Coming out of this glass too versus what I had, at the tasting, is going to give me a different impression as well. Man, that is rich. Gosh, that's just like a heavy, heavy reduction. Gosh, I'm trying to think of what type of reduction I would call it. It's so sweet, thus the maple call out. And it goes more towards those a maple woody note than fruit notes. So I think that's what's throwing me for a loop here. I mean, there's a grape there, but man, is that a dark grape. Once again, a heavy, heavy reduction on that. Okay, the MGP part of it's starting to come through. So I'm getting past the finishing, and now I'm getting into some good MGP notes. This is cask strength, by the way. I don't think I mentioned that. It's 112 proof. Yeah, 112.4. Oh, man. See, now I'm getting to the MGP, and it's my typical MGP profile. The honey, the graham cracker, slight hint of cherry, powdered sugar, donut. Gosh, that nice fried dough with that reduction on top of it, man. That is just a decadent dessert. Right on the nose. It's wonderfully balanced, too. Now that I'm getting the MGP side of it, at first, the finishing was really dominating and kind of taking me for a loop. But now the MGP is right there, 50-50 with it. Oh, yeah. Let's go in for a taste. Start with the front palate, mid palate, work our way to the finish. Go step by step there. So first sip. Yeah. Ooh. Ooh. First sip, exactly as expected off the nose. It was very sweet. Getting the powdered sugar sensation, the fried dough sensation. The fruit reduction was there, but not potent yet. It accelerated towards mid palate. We'll do one more sip and talk about mid palate. Yeah, so dark. Trying to decide if it's still that maple syrup or like a really dark honey. But it travels that ground. The fruits are there. The grape is there. The grape reduction is there. That really comes through towards the finish. But man, when it first hits you mid-palate, it is still more like a maple syrup to me. Man, it's very good. I mean, you're just talking about, delicious. Gosh, elevated carnival food. So almost like somebody was trying to do a spin on carnival food, but you're at a fancy restaurant and they just figured out a way to elevate it. So when you get that fried dough and the powdered sugar, someone classed that up. And that's what this tastes like. Man, grape really took over on that one. Woo. Okay. Grape's escalating. Each sip of this has been different so far and changed right at mid-palate. So you got to kind of get used to this one. The wine influence, though, is emerging more and more. But it comes across as not a wine still. I guess it's the liqueur. It's a grape reduction. And a dark grape at that. Oh man, getting a little nutty towards the end now too. That's took a different direction, that sip, than expected. A little chocolate with that nut too. So taking me on a little bit of an adventure here. This is pretty fun. So this was 85 or 65? I think it was 85. Maybe somewhere in between. This one is for a particular taste. It's not necessarily one that I would call universally inviting. It's really piquing my interest, but I'm obsessed with finished whiskey and finished MGP. So that's where I'm getting most interested. I could see these deep grape notes maybe even being a turnoff or a confusion to somebody else. So I think you're going to have to take my words and where to take them, depending on what your profile is, on whether this is a recommend, if you find it in your area. I wouldn't mind having a backup of this, though. This is interesting and decadent and delicious. Man. Definitely takes you for a ride, though. That nuttiness just keeps getting in there, too. It's so interesting. For it to turn nutty like that, 4, 5, 6 sips in. Intriguing. So take my recommendation then as you would. I mean, it's not that much of a risk, in that 65 to 85 cask strength, $85, $65 for a cask strength finished product. Like, that's actually not too much of a risk. If you want to go on an adventure, just be prepared for that deep grape reduction note that you may find absolutely delicious like I do, or you may find it funky. So you're probably laying somewhere in the middle. But this is a recommend coming from me with all that to consider. Well, thank you for joining the Whiskey Friends on this adventure, on this brand new product and this new brand, new release you probably haven't heard of yet. If you had heard of it, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments, because this one kind of takes me in all different directions. I want to know what it did to you. Thanks for joining, everybody. Catch you next time. Bye, Whiskey Friends.